Good day everyone. We are the BS Ed English 2B students and we will be presenting our needs assessment having the BS Ed 1B Filipino students as our respondents. So, the title of our needs assessment is Exploring the Reading Strategies of the First Year Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino students at Central Mindanao University. Together, we will walk through the results, findings, and proposed intervention based on our assessment. So, this needs assessment was conducted last November 29, 2025 using the online Google Forms survey. The specific question that we gave is aimed to analyze their cognitive, metacognitive, and their affective reading strategies. Through the use of this, we will be able to identify gaps or problems through their reading strategies, and we will be able to propose the perfect intervention that would cater or answer the problems that they may have.
For the data gathering process, the researcher utilized the Reading Strategies Questionnaire by Fakiti 2006. Permission was secured through a communication letter, and all participants provided informed consent. The questionnaire focused on three main areas. The first one is the cognitive strategies such as summarizing and using context clues. Second one is metacognitive strategies like setting reading purposes and checking comprehension. The last is affective strategies, which deals with motivation, calmness, and confidence. Each of these components help the researcher assess how students read, regulate, and emotionally manage academic texts. The researchers' participants were 30 students from first year Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino at Central Mindanao University. They were chosen deliberately because they are the target group whose reading strategies were to be analyzed. Through consent forms and proper communication, these students provided valuable insights that would later guide the creation of a relevant intervention program.
The conduct of the needs assessment showed several strengths. First, participants demonstrated a high level of cooperation, which contributed timely to data collection. Second, the online format ensured efficiency and organization. Third, formal permissions and clear instruction allowed us to carry out the assessment smoothly. Overall, data retrieval and processing became faster and accurate. Despite the strengths, there were also limitations. Some participants experienced internet issues, causing delays in responses. We had to send follow-up reminders to ensure completion. Additionally, because the answers were self-reported, there may have been biases on how students rated their strategies. Some items also required clarifications as interpretations varied.
Our key findings reveal that students showed high use of cognitive and metacognitive strategies, reflecting their ability to process information and regulate reading behaviors. However, their effective strategy use was low. This means many students struggled with motivation, confidence, and stress management when reading because effective strategies influence comprehension and persistence. This gap underscores the need for intervention, focus, and emotional and motivational support. In response to the identified gap, we designed an intervention program titled Read with Heart Effective Strategies Enhancement Program. This will run for 4 to 6 weeks with 1 to 2 sessions per week, and each session lasting about 45 to 60 minutes. This program specifically targets students' emotional and motivational needs during reading.
So at the end of the interventions, our objectives include improving intrinsic and extrinsic reading motivation. Second is strengthening emotional regulation to reduce anxiety. Third is enhancing reading confidence using strategies like self-talk and journaling. Fourth is encouraging healthy reading habits such as mindful breaks. 5 is helping students independently apply effective strategies in academic tasks. The program is learner-centered and focuses on emotional well-being. It follows a scaffolded approach beginning with motivation, followed by stress regulation, confidence building, and finally, resilience. Activities are both individual and collaborative, with reflective journaling to help students monitor growth. Engaging reading materials are also incorporated to sustain interest.
Students will participate in guided reading with emotional support, collaborative reflections, and strategy application in real tasks. Feedback will be provided through observation checklists, journals, behavioral logs, and self-assessments. Teachers will have constructive feedback to build confidence. Technology will play a role through educational videos, timers with calming music, digital journals, and online platforms. In addition, peer support groups will help students discuss challenges, motivation, and emotional strategies, creating a safe and collaborative learning environment.
Resources include motivation cards, self-talk scripts, emotional regulation guides, reading passages, and grounding tools. Progress will be monitored through weekly checklists, journal observation notes, and recognition badges that track improvement in motivation, confidence, and resilience. The program will conclude with a showcase of motivation cards and confidence journals where students share their personal reflections. Evaluation will rely on surveys, reflection responses, post-intervention RSQ results, and teacher observations to determine the program's effectiveness. Optional follow-up sessions, accessible reading spaces, digital tools, and regulation check-ins will help sustain the students' growth even after the program ends.